The first half of the season is officially in the books, and really it's way past the halfway point, but we head to the All-Star break. 97 games in, 65 games to go for the New York Mets, who are 55 and 42 after losing to the Royals on Sunday. They take 2 of 3 in Kansas City, a bounce back after that brutal series in Baltimore, and you're feeling pretty good about this team, but the realization that they do have flaws that they need to address here. And 17 days from today will be the trade deadline. The Mets are off on that day, July 31st, and we're going to find a lot about this team, about David Stearns, about the final couple months, and what this team does, because they need help. There's no doubt about it. This cannot be, we just dip our little toes in the water. No. You got to go in. You got to go get a guy like a Cespedes, like you did in 2015, to propel this team to win a division, which is great and all. But you want to win a World Series. This is not, the expectations aren't going to the playoffs. The Mets right now are a playoff team as currently constructed. They're a team that can maybe win a round in the playoffs, but as currently constructed, I don't know if they can win the whole damn thing. So we'll see what David Stearns does here. You're watching Mets Daily. I'm your host, Jake Brown. Smash that thumbs up on the video. Click that subscribe button below and click that join button. If you're watching on a computer, it should be join. If you're on your phone, go to your computer, click join for $5 a month. We do a watch party every week with members only. We did that yesterday. We also do a weekend-only member video, which we did on David Wright over the weekend. And I talked about what Wright meant to me in my life and getting me through different moments of my life and what he meant as a Met and how his career kind of got taken away from him too short. So that's for members only. So click below, join, $5 a month. First giveaway also coming this month. So if you want a free giveaway, you got a chance to win that by being a member. So click that join button and follow me at Jake Brown Radio. Well, Sunday was frustrating. Listen, this was a team that, the bottom of the line has been a problem for them. They had a pinch hit back to back just to tie the game of the ninth, which was great. And, it was frustrating that they couldn't score more than a few runs, but it was good that they showed some fight. The positive to come out of Sunday was this: Sean Manaea is back. Our tribal chief is here, and he had strikeout stuff like no other. 7 strikeouts through 3 1/3, and unfortunately he couldn't get through that ninth inning. I thought it was the right move putting him back out there for the ninth. He didn't have Edwin Diaz available. He went 2 innings Saturday. He's pitching the All-Star game tomorrow. It makes sense not to use Diaz. Garrett was unavailable. I think if Stanek came in and blew it, fans would have complained you should have kept him Manaea. So I'm not blaming Mendoza for this one. Mendoza made the right move by putting Jeff McNeil up, who hit that RBI triple, and then Jared Young with his Mets moment, a sac fly. And, they did show some life, but unfortunately, a single, a stolen base from a speedy guy, and then a single, and that's the ball game, and that's how the cookie crumbles. But you can live with that loss, and you'll take the series win going into a much-needed break here. I think I need it, you need it, we all need it, the Mets need it. They need these 4 days. Now, obviously, David Peterson, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, and Edwin Diaz will all be in the All-Star game, but, the 22 other players on the roster can get a break. Just when Mark Vientos gets going, he's the one guy that you probably don't want to have a break. You want him to keep hitting the ball because he's an important piece of this team that needs to get it going. But there's going to be a lot of decisions to make here in the coming weeks on this roster and what they're going to do. And like I've said, I don't think all these 4 infielders are surviving. Beatty, Vientos, Mauricio, and Acuna. I think 1 or 2 of them are going to get traded here. And those, Mauricio is a guy that everyone's going to want. I think Beatty is a piece that's wanted, and Acuna might even be a piece that's wanted. I don't know Vientos right now if his stock is very high, but people saw what he did in the playoffs, see what he did last year. So one of those guys, I think, gets dealt. And the Mets are going to have to make a decision at catcher, and that's my next point. Francisco Alvarez, 8 homers his last 13 games in AAA. What happens when he comes here? Is this an Eric Chavez thing? Is this a Major League pitching is just light years better, which we know it's a whole different level, the big leagues versus AAA. Brett Beatty is a classic example of that. He's a Hall of Fame AAA player, and he's just an okay big league player. So we know there is a big difference, but it's pretty amazing. Alvarez for 2.5 months was doing nothing here. I mean, from April through June, he was doing nothing, gets called down. He's hitting homers every day, and this looks like the home run hitter that you saw his first year that gave you hope that Francisco Alvarez would be the Mets catcher for 10 years to come. So I think the move here is to call him back Friday. There was a roster stipulation where because he was in the minor leagues through Saturday when they called him down, he was there for the certain amount of time, the Mets gained an extra year of control on Alvarez through 2028. So I think the struggles mixed with, hey, we can gain a year if we keep him down there for that long, combined for why Alvarez was down there, I think it's time. Hayden Sanger, cool story, fun story. This is a team trying to win a championship. It's not about fun stories. So as cool as it was that he got the pay upgrade going from Whole Foods to the big leagues, you got to send Sanger down here. He's a AAA catcher. That's what he is right now. And you got to take this seriously over the next 2 weeks and evaluate, is Alvarez back, or is this going to be a problem for a while here? You need to see from this Friday to maybe up till July 31st if it's going to be Alvarez and Torrens, or is it going to be like a guy like Austin Wynns, a veteran backup on the A's that you can go out and get for a low-level prospect? Is it a Langoliers who probably would cost more? Is it a Freddie Furman, a guy you face on the Royals, their backup catcher, who's had a good run here, hitting 275, who can be a part-time catcher for you? Mets got to decide, are we going to go out, add another catcher? Because listen, I've told you, the organizational depth at that position sucks. They need one no matter what, even if Alvarez is good. So if I'm the Mets, I'm going out there, and you don't really have to give up anything to get Austin Wynns, who is a 35-year-old veteran catcher, hitting 296, 6 homers this year. He had much better numbers when he was on the Reds before he got traded to the A's, but could end up with a third team in a season. That's a name. Him and Furman are two names I'm targeting that you're not trading the farm for. Goodman and Langoliers are guys that are going to cost more in prospects to trade for. Wins, Furman, won't cost you much, assuming they're available. Two teams, especially the A's, who are out of it. Royals are pretty much out of it, but hanging by a thread in that wild card race. I think you got to go out and add a catcher. And if Alvarez these next 2 weeks does not show you any improvement and is not hitting like he is in AAA right now, Mets have a decision to make, because you can't just have a black hole at the catcher position. You have to figure out, hey, how can we get production from this spot? If this guy's hitting 7th, even if they're 8th or 9th, you're seeing the Royals. Look at their bottom of the order beating the Mets yesterday. Like, the Mets need those moments from the bottom of the order when they're a 7 hitter or a pinch hitter in the 8th spot can come up and win a game for you. You need that, and they haven't got that, and that needs to change in the second half if you want a division where you're half a game out right now and trying to beat out the Phillies. So I'd say get a catcher no matter what. I'd say call Alvarez up Friday. You're going to get Brooks Raley probably back over the weekend as well, which is huge for this bullpen. We've talked about that. He's looked lights out in rehab. His rehab clock, I think, runs out over the weekend anyway. I think he's good to go. You pitch him an inning maybe Friday or Saturday, give him a day or two off, and then get him back to normal. I think he's fine. Get Raley up here. He's off-speed stuff, not a power thrower, but we've seen Raley have success here already and in the big leagues as a lefty, and the boy do the Mets need it. So that's going to be a huge addition. And I do think over the next couple of days, and hopefully we'll be talking about it here on Mets Daily, that they do add another arm. I think there are going to be arms for the taking. Baker the other day got traded to the Rays. I think the Mets can get an arm here in these next 4 days, and they should be making as many calls as they can. Don't wait until July 31st. Why not get someone now if you can? It might not be a Buxton, a Duran, maybe it's Mullins, maybe it's an arm, but I think you make a deal and go into this Friday game in the series, David Wright Day, Saturday, fans packing Citi Field over the weekend with Raley, with Alvarez, and with an additional player that's not on this roster to get some oomph, to get some juice to begin what's a huge second half of the season. Speaking of juice, speaking of some oomph, how about the Mets drafting two-way player Mitch Voit out of Michigan with their first pick in the MLB draft on Sunday with the competitive balance round A pick, 38. He is a infielder, mostly second baseman, and he also did pitch, but he did have surgery, so he did stop pitching. His last time he pitched was 2024 for Michigan, where he didn't do much as a pitcher, but as a hitter, got a really good year. 346 average, 471 OBP, 14 homers, 60 RBIs, 14 stolen bases. And what we know about Voit is the gif that's going viral of, kind of a 1986 Mets celebration. Whoop, if you know what I'm talking about, on the foul line, on the white dust. I'll give you that. Lenny Dykstra would appreciate that. So, seems like he's got some fire and desire. There was a tweet out there, his video, how it sounded like David Stearns. And when you hear it, the way he talks, it really does. Mitch Voit sound like David Stearns. But Rico Suave, good-looking dude. He says he's a winner. He says, I just want to win. Do whatever it takes to help the team win. He's saying all the right things. We'll see what he ends up being. Looks like a fun player that could be beloved here in New York. But, again, who knows with draft picks too early on. I don't know much about these draft picks. But from what I hear, he could be an exciting player. The Mets also in the third round took Antonio Jimenez, a shortstop out of University of Central Florida. In the fourth round, they take Peter Kusnow, a right-hand pitcher at Arrowhead Union High School. Round 5, they take Peyton Prescott, a right-hand pitcher out of Florida State. Round 6, they take Nathan Hall, a right-hand pitcher at a University of Central Missouri. So still a bunch more picks to go in the draft, which it goes on forever, the MLB draft. But those are your picks so far. We're going to talk this week. I'm excited to talk this week. You know, we wanted to wait till the break to get him on when there's a little less going on. Ernest Dove, who you might have saw the Mets, Steve Cohen, Mets owner, obviously tweeting out, following him for the Mets Dove Report on prospects. He is all over the prospect scene. So if you're a prospect person, you want to know more about the Mets minor league farm system, this week, Wednesday, stay tuned for Ernest Dove. Will be a guest on the show as we dive into the prospect world. I don't do a lot of it, but now is the perfect time, these 4 days, to get into prospects. We'll talk more trade rumors. We'll do all that. All that coming this week on Mets Daily. Hit that thumbs up. Comment what trade do you want to make below. Become a Mets Daily Insider for $5 a month. And follow me at Jake Brown Radio. Enjoy the Home Run Derby tonight. We'll talk before the All-Star Game tomorrow. And thanks for watching Mets Daily.